Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video we have created some of the class, right? So here we have created one of the class as a user, and also we have created another class as a my user manager. So now I want to do for our e-commerce project that the user profile is so much important on of the part. And into the user profile here I want to define some of the multiple field for our user. So for that reasons here I want to create another class. Okay, I want to create another class and I just name it as a profile. And into the profile it will be I inherited with our models. Okay, with the models, and it will be also that model. Okay, so then the model, and also after that we have to define our all that fields. So first of all here I want to define that user, and with this user here I want to define that will be as a model. So it will be just like that same before. Here I want to create one of the relation as a one-to-one field relation. Okay, one-to-one field relation, and with this one-to-one field relation here will be our user, and into the user I want to define as on delete. So as I told you, it should be just like that same before. We have already did the type of work a lot of the time. So on delete, it should be on delete with our models, and then I want to make that things as a cascade. And then I also want to define that one of the relations. So here I have to define the relation name with the related name. Okay, related underscore name, and I just name that as a profile. Okay, I just name it as a with the profile. And now I also want to define some of the field for this user as a username. Okay, username field will be created with these models. So with these models it should be as a character field type. Okay, it should be as a character field, and with this character field I define one of the attribute as a maximum length. So I just simply define the maximum length. Maximum length will be 264, and also I want to make as a blank. Okay, blank as a true, and then also I want to take another one for our full name. Okay, and that means this user full name, and here with these models. So with this model I want to define the character field. So character field also here I want to define the maximum length. Maximum length will be as a 264. Okay, and then also I want to make that thing as a blank. Blank will be as a true, and then also we need that address because that is actually the e-commerce side. So for the e-commerce side we'll need one of the address. I define as the address one would be the models. So with these models it should be as a text field. Okay, field. So it should be as a text field, and for the text field I want to define one of the attribute as a maximum length. So maximum length for the text field I want to define as a 300 character. Okay, and also here I want to make that blank. A blank will be as a true, and then also we need the city, and city will be with these models. Okay, sorry. So with these models it will be also the character field. So character field, and then the maximum length. Now for the city I define that maximum length will be as a 40 character, and I'll make that as a blank. Okay, blank as a true, and then our another field I want to define as a zip code. Okay, zip code with these models. So with these models I want to define that this will be also the character field. Okay, sorry, char character field, and then I define as a maximum length. Maximum length will be for zip code I define as a 10. Okay, 10 will be enough, and I just simply define as a blank, and blank will be as a true. And then I define another one as a country. Country will be as a models, then character field, and then maximum length. Sorry, maximum length for the country I define as a 20, and make that blank. Blank is equal to true. Okay, blank is equal to true. And also I want to take that our phone number. that means the phone with the models. With the models, I want to define the character field, and then maximum length, and for phone maximum length will be as a 20, and also I make as a blank. Okay, blank will be as a true. And then the date of joining, so I just simply define as a date underscore joined. Okay, date joined, and here with these models, it should be type will be as a date time field. Date time field, right? So that is will be as a date time field, and then it should be as a auto now add underscore add, and then it should be as a true. And after that I want to define one of the function. So here I want to define one of the or string function as a def double underline string, and here it should be as a self. And then here I want to define the return our username with the self. I define that username. Okay, and username, after that username I want to define it should be display as a username s profile. Okay, so here after that username I want to define as a plus, it should be add as a apostrophe s. Okay, so here it should be display this type of one of the text, that means the s profile. That means if you define as a Aryan, then it should be defined as a Aryan's profile. Okay, so this type of one of the text it should be added after this username. And then I want to define another functionality, because first of all here we have to check all that our field, right? So here if you want to check that field, then also you have to define one of the function. So here I want to create one of the function, and I just name it as is underscore fully field. Okay, so here I want to first of all check it that field is already fulfilled or not. So here I take one of the function name, whatever the name you are choosing. So right, that is actually our customized function. So now I want to create this function with the self, and here with the self, so I take one of the variable as a field name. Okay, fields underscore name, I just take with one of the variables. So with this variable I want to first of all check all that our field. So if you want to check it, so I just simply define the field and the name, and the for f in the self. So with this self you have to define that underscore meta. Okay, meta, with this meta you have to get your field name. So here I just simply define as a get all that field, that means a get underscore field. Okay, fields. So here you have to defining it. So that is also one of the building function. So I just take first of all check all that our profile field, and I just take that all field with this variable, that means this variable. So now I want to check this condition. If this field is already filled up, then it should be show as a true rather than it should be show as a false. Okay, so here after this I want to take one of the for loop. So I just simply define a for loop, and for loop here I want to define that name as a fields. Okay, field underscore name in fields. Okay, fields underscore name. Because of all here I have already get all that our check, that means here I already check all that field and take the things with this variable. So now here I just run one of the for loop. Okay, for the for loop, that is our fields, I just name it with our field name. So with this field name I want to check it. Okay, so here I want to check every field. So here after this I define that value. So into the value area I want to define one of the another function as a get attribute. So I just simply define as a get attribute. With this get attribute it will be as a self, and then our this name, that means our field name. So I just simply define that field name. And if, okay, that means if our this value is not none, so the value is none. So here I define the none or value equal empty. Okay, so then it should be return as a false, and rather than it should be returned out our true. Okay, so I just simply define the return true. And now after that we have to define this type of one of the things, like when our this user will be created, automatically it will be created another object for our this profile. Okay, that means here there is all that profile, so automatically when this user will be created, our this profile, all that field will be created. So if you want to do that work, then there have also some of the class we have to input. So after this, here better I want to do and put some of the comments for you. Okay, so here I define that it should be as a to automatically create one-to-one object. Okay, so it should be created one-to-one object. So for now I want to do first of all get it. So from our Django, so from to the Django DB and then models. So from here there is also one of the another one as a singles models, and then also there have another one as a signals. Okay, with the signals here I want to do and to input our post underscore save. So that is actually one of the another object function. So here you have to take it, and also from Django there is also another one as a dispatch dispatch, right? Dispatch PATCH, perfect. So with the dispatch I want to also input the receiver. So I just simply input our this receiver. So now with these receivers, okay, so with this receiver we have to defining it. So after this, here first of all we have to define our these receivers. So with these receivers, first of all I want to do, when this user is already saved this data, then it should be send some of the signal. Okay, so here with this post, that means with this post save, we can send this information. So there is a sender, so that sender will be our user, right? So when this any user will be created, then it should be send some of the request or send some of the message that he created one of the user. So when this user will be created, then I want to do I have to define one of the function as a create profile. Create profile, that means when this user send that information that user is created, then our this function, that means our this profile function will be activated. Okay, so into this profile function here we have to pass that sender, and then also we have to define that instance, that means our instance, and also now it will be created our profile. So here I have to define that created. Okay, I just simply pass that created, and also here we have to pass our key argument. So here I define as a key argument. Okay, key arguments. And now I have to define our one of the condition. I just simply if this user is created. Okay, that means if this that is actually the created, then it should be created one of the profile object. So here I define that profile. So that is a profile, that means I have already defined our class, that is our profile class, that means our profile object that I have already created. So that is our profile. So that is our profile, right? So into the profile it should be now getting that data, that means all that objects. So here I just simply define as a profile, and with this profile objects, okay, with this objects, and here we have to define that create, then create, and here we have to pass our user instance. So I just simply pass our user instance. Okay, user instance. And also here when it should be done, then I want to define our save all the data into the profile area. So I think you can well understand about it. So that means when our this user will be created, then automatically it will be send this request, and then our this create profile function will be activated. And also here I have to define another one. So better I want to define another function. So here when this user will be send that request, I want to pass our this all that instant data. So here that is also all that field will be activated, and into this field area, that means in our profile area, I want to add all that our field. Okay, so here if you want to add it, then you have to define with the function, and I just name it as a save, that means save this profile. Okay, I just simply define as a save profile one of the function, and here also we have to pass that sender, we have to pass that instance, and here also we have to pass that our key argument. So I just simply define our key argument. Okay, so key arguments. And now we have to now save this data. So here I define an instance. So with this instance I want to define our here I define that user, right? Into this user area we have to save all the data. So here I define that name as a related name with the profile. So here with this instance you have to pass that profile, and this profile data I want to save. So here I just simply save it. So that's all we have to do. So here I have created some of the class. So that is our profile class. I have created another class as a user, and also that is our my user manager. So now we are ready to migrate it. So before migrate it, we have to register all that our class in our admin, right? So better I want to do and to continue this process. In our next video, we'll register all that class in our admin, and after that we'll migrate. Okay, so when we'll migrate and when we access our admin, then every functionality will be very much clear to you. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.